All right, gang, here we go. Good evening. Cinco de Mayo, right? May 5th. Carson Meredith with you here in the Wave Weather Now studios. Hope all is well on this Sunday night. Hopefully you're recovering from a busy Oaks and Derby weekend. I guarantee you a lot of people in this building that have been in this building nonstop got a lot of sleep today. As far as the weather team, we're not going to get a lot of sleep this week, unfortunately, because things are not looking good as we get towards Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. If you were watching me last night here on our little conversation, we were talking about how a lot can still change. And there hasn't been a whole lot of change tonight, but the trends that we were concerned about last night are still holding. So we're getting to a point now, gang, where I never like saying this kind of wording, but this could be a potentially significant severe weather threat, especially on Wednesday. And we're really looking at potentially 3 rounds of severe weather, 2 of which would be on Tuesday, excuse me, and then you would have a 3rd round on Wednesday. So this is going to be a very, very busy week ahead, and there's still a lot of small details that we just can't nail down at this point. Excuse me, my allergies are getting to me here in the last little bit. Forgive me. But we're getting a little bit more concerned. That doesn't mean everybody needs to panic. We're going to be fine, okay? We just have to really pay attention as this forecast continues to change, okay? Let me take you to Spaghetti Junction while we pull up some comments here, shall we? Because we're still going to keep things lighthearted, even though we got some concerning things to look at. Shonda's watching in Jeffersonville. Angela's in Taylorsville. Brooke's getting a little worried. I get it. We're getting all a little bit worried. Just something we have to keep watching, right? Cheryl's watching in Comiskey. Let's see. Dallas says, just hoping this doesn't turn to be as significant as what some of the signs suggest. Yeah, we're going to, excuse me, we're going to look at some of those signs here in our discussion tonight. Cody, hello from a humid Hardin County. Yeah, kind of soupy again today, huh? Got up to 81 here in Louisville, but it was still a decent day, right? A lot of us stayed dry. Tammy's watching in Marion County. Marion County, you guys might have had a couple of downpours today. It was mainly south of Louisville, as we expected. Well, here's a fun factoid from Angela. May 5th is also Dutch Liberation Day at the end of World War II. The more you know. Thanks, Angela. There's our little history lesson of the day. That's cool. Retha's asking, is this the front that was so dangerous last week moving towards us? It's not necessarily the one from last week, but there's another system out in the plains that's going to wreak havoc in Oklahoma again tomorrow. And that same system is going to move towards us, especially by Wednesday. That's why I'm a little more concerned about the Wednesday setup, but we got to keep an eye on Tuesday too, of course. Pardon me. Goodness. Jacqueline says tornado outbreak. I'm not going to say that just yet, Jacqueline. I'm not going to say that because it's three days away. Okay. So, but it could be significant, the severe weather that we see on Wednesday, whether it's tornadoes or wind or even hail. We got hail potential as well. It's not as high end, if you will, but it's still there. Man, we got a lot of questions. M is getting her wisdom teeth taken out Wednesday. Don't cancel that appointment just yet. This looks like a Wednesday night issue, okay? So I don't want to go through too many comments here at one time. I want to keep us going with the forecast too. So let's go to New Albany. Here at 8:05, it is all quiet. Some clouds have filtered back. Yeah, had a little bit of a breeze today. The flags on our camera here were steadily in the breeze today, but all in all, it wasn't too bad. Still kind of warm out there. Temperature 79. Definitely humid. A dew point of 60 degrees. That air you can wear, making an early arrival this year. Radar is quiet for the time being, and really, I expect us to stay quiet for several more hours. We had a few downpours in our far southern tier earlier today. Mumfordville, Greensburg, Campbellsville. You guys might have seen a few raindrops. Not a big deal. But let's zoom things out because here comes the first round of rain for the week ahead. It is off to our south and west, across Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, and my old stomping grounds of North Alabama. There it is. And you notice it is just good old-fashioned rain. And really, that's all I expect tonight as this slowly moves into the north, from the southwest to the north and east. Could there be a few rumbles tonight? Yes. Similar to last night, my nap in between Saturday night and Sunday morning shows, I got woken up by some of that thunder. So that may happen again tonight. But let's be very, very clear. Tonight, there is no severe weather threat. Zero, zip, zilch, nada. Okay? Take comfort in that. We are good to go tonight. Just rain with some thunder. That is all. And for most of the day on Monday, that will be the same story. We got to watch a few storms that will fire up as the afternoon goes on as we warm things up tomorrow. But the severe weather ingredients aren't here yet. So we do not expect much in the way of severe weather tomorrow, if any at all. But you're going to need the rain gear. You see those rain chances really ramp up past 2 o'clock in the morning tonight, early Monday morning. The Monday morning drive will be a mess. It's Monday morning as it is, so it's already going to be a mess, right? But with everybody coming back from Derby weekend, add a little rain in the mix, it's going to be a rough morning drive. So plan on an extra 10, 15 minutes heading out the door tomorrow, and you should be just fine. But we'll keep those higher end rain chances all day. Is it going to rain every single second tomorrow? No, it will not. But as we heat things up in the afternoon, we'll get some of that dry time filling in, I guess you could say. And that'll allow for us to heat up and a few more thunderstorms to pop during the afternoon. So here's Futurecast. This is for tomorrow. We're not talking about Tuesday and Wednesday yet. This is for Monday, 3 o'clock in the morning. Decent little band of heavier rain on the leading edge of this big swath. So you might get some ponding on the roads. That's probably where you're going to have your lightning potential, your thunder potential overnight tonight. So here in Louisville, we could see rain as early as 2 a.m. and maybe hear a few rumbles of thunder in that 3 o'clock time frame. But that's all it's going to be, okay? Just thunder tonight. That's it. Let's keep going. 7:30 in the morning. Heaviest rain is starting to push to the north and east up towards Cincinnati. We're left with scattered showers across all of wave country. We'll dry things out a little bit. Let me back it up here. We'll dry things out a little bit around noon. Still some showers around, but not as many. And then by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, here go those heavier thunderstorms redeveloping, especially across Kentucky. I think if you live in the bluegrass, you're going to have a better shot at seeing these hit and miss storms tomorrow afternoon. Now, some of these storms tomorrow afternoon might have some wind with them. Probably not severe, though. Might have 30, 40 mile per hour gust, but I just don't see much of a severe threat tomorrow. Okay, just some heavier rain where you got to keep the umbrella and you got to keep the Wave Weather app handy. Let's get the notification set to where it lets you know that there's lightning nearby. All right, I had that happen to me while I was here at the station yesterday, watching radar as a downpour was going right along the Ohio River. I was watching it close, make sure it didn't get towards Churchill Downs. Thankfully, it didn't. So that's all it's going to be tomorrow, in all likelihood, is heavy rain and a little bit of lightning, maybe some wind, not a lot. So as we get towards Monday evening, those storms will fizzle out as we lose the heat of the day. And all in all, it looks like we get a decent break Monday night. And we're going to need that break, guys, because starting Tuesday morning, it gets rocky, okay? That's when the first of 3 rounds of severe storms potentially moves in. All right, to the comments we go. Let's see. Brooke. Work delivering mail. Thank you for doing that, Brooke. Will be outside all day Wednesday. Yeah, I will say, and we'll get into this here in a second, but this looks more like a Wednesday evening issue at this point. Could that change? Yes, it can. Of course it can. But it's been very consistent among all the data today that this could be Wednesday evening and Wednesday night, which is good as far as getting everybody home from work and school, but you guys are going to be going to sleep as some of this rolls through. So it's going to be one of those nocturnal potential severe weather threats on Wednesday night. And we'll discuss that more as we go on. Cheryl makes a great point. It is election day in Indiana Tuesday, not in Kentucky, Indiana. You got your primaries on Tuesday. We need to watch Tuesday morning in particular. I think the polls open at 6 or 7. I can't remember. Just after the polls open on Tuesday, there will be storms rolling through. So that's a great point, Cheryl. Tammy says, hoping no tornado outbreak. Yeah, you and me both. I'm not ready to say that just yet, but I will say Wednesday's got my attention more than most severe weather threats around here. I'll leave it at that at this point. Whoops. Lauren says, we'll be okay. Just be aware and be smart. You got it. You got it, Lauren. That's all we got to do. That's why we're here. That's why Kevin and Brian and Ryan and Tawana are here. We will watch this stuff constantly this week. We will be updating you constantly here on Wave Weather Now, on Facebook, on YouTube, on the app, and on TV. As soon as we get new data, you're going to know what that new data is and what it means for this situation. All right? Just be smart, be aware. We're going to be just fine. All right? It's spring in the Ohio Valley. We're used to this. Let's see. Laura's watching in Lebanon tonight. Doug is watching in Greene County. Hope all's well down in Greene County. Emily says we're starting to get some model agreement. We are indeed. And I'm going to talk more about that here in the next few minutes. Let's see. Tanya's watching in Hanover. No rain in Lebanon today, says Laura. All right. So it was just barely south of Lebanon today. It was Hart and Greene and Taylor County more than anything else. Ashley's always watching. Still clusters of storms. For the most part, yes. You probably know what I'm about to say. There's been some indications that with the third round of storms Wednesday evening, we may start off with a couple of supercells. And that would, of course, bump up our tornado threat. So for the most part, it still looks like those big clusters of storms like we talked about last night, but I don't want to discount that supercell potential either. Anna's watching in Meade County. No rain in Marion County today, Tammy says. Let's see here. Caden, will this impact Southwest Indiana, such as Evansville? Yes, it will, Caden. All 3 rounds could potentially cause issues just off to our west in Evansville. Is it going to be worse in Kentucky or Southern Indiana, Michelle asks. Well, this is one of those rare situations where everybody kind of has the same general risk, at least at this stage of the game. Now, and I'll explain this here in a little bit, some rounds are going to impact different folks. So one round might be more of an issue for Southern Indiana, another might be more so for Kentucky. But in general, this is going to impact everybody. All right. So, and we'll break down each round here as we move along. Let's see. Amy can live with the wind. It's the tornadoes. I get it. I talk about it all the time. Tornadoes scared me to death when I was a kid. So I get it. The CSU severe weather outlook looks not so good, Wendy says on X or Twitter or whatever they call it these days. I do have that CSU machine learning tool in my show tonight to show you what Wendy's talking about. And yes, it's a little concerning. Donnie's watching from Du Bois. Janetta says, had some hail in Brooks last night with that storm that came through. Interesting. That's the first I've heard of any hail with those storms. I assume, Janetta, you're talking about late last night, overnight, when those storms rolled through. Interesting. Let's see. Tanya says, thanks for keeping us safe and alert. Hey, that's our job. That's why we're here. That's why we'll be here all week. And all the time, of course. Let's see. Jamie's tuning in. Let's see. Ann's asking about rain in Louisville. Yeah, it'll move in around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, at least with this first go round. All right, let's keep going here. A lot of folks chiming in. I want to keep the forecast going too, though. Here's the situation for the alert days. We originally just had Wednesday as an alert day. We made the decision to add Tuesday with our forecast update this afternoon because both days there is a threat for severe weather, and we don't want to confuse you guys. Tuesday and Wednesday, alert days. Both days, severe threat. All right? Based on what I'm seeing at this point, we are looking at potentially up to 3 rounds of storms in those 2 days. Okay? Round 1 would be midday Tuesday. And by midday, I mean 9 a.m. to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's just give you that general timing, okay? 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Tuesday. That first round's a little iffy as far as if it will have severe weather, but I think we'll have storms in that time frame, and that's why we got to watch it, right? That's round 1. Round 2 will be Tuesday night, okay? Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, mainly after 6, 7 o'clock, okay? That round is also a little iffy because whether or not that second round really comes into play depends on how that first round earlier in the day goes. So this is one of those deals again where one round will affect the other for better or for worse. And we just can't nail down those details yet, guys, until we get closer to this deal, okay? But that's the situation for Tuesday. One round around midday, close to lunch, another in the evening after dinner. Then we get a break early Wednesday before the third and, God willing, final round moves in Wednesday night, okay? And if you ask me right now, all right, of these 3 rounds, which one worries you the most? It's that third round Wednesday night. It looks concerning. I'll just shoot straight with you. It looks concerning Wednesday night. That doesn't mean it's going to be a huge outbreak. Hopefully it's a bust, right? But just looking at some of the data with that third round, it's a little concerning. So that's the one that I've got my eye on closely, very, very close. But we can't ignore those 2 rounds on Tuesday either. Let's go through the threats. I just updated this before we started our video here tonight. The main issues, the main concerns are tornadoes and damaging wind. There was a lot of questions last night when we were here chatting, whether or not we would see those stronger, larger tornadoes. I still do not see that potential at this time. However, I'm not going to totally rule it out. I don't say that to scare anybody at all, but there is going to be a ton of shear in the atmosphere. And by shear, we mean changing of the winds, either by speed or by direction. The more shear you got, the bigger concern the tornado is, the greater the tornado concern is. Let me get that out correctly. So I still think more than anything else, we're looking at those more typical spin-up tornadoes. But especially with the third round Wednesday night, if we start this deal off with these more discrete supercells, that's going to ramp up the tornado threat a little bit. And that's when that stronger tornado potential could come into play. I'm not saying it's going to happen, guys. All right. It's just something we have to keep an eye on, especially with that third and final round Wednesday night. More than anything else, it'll just be the spin-ups, the EF0s, EF1s that we got to watch. Damaging wind. 60, 70 miles per hour, not out of the question, maybe higher than that. The hail threat, it's there. I will say I'm not too terribly worried about it, but we got to watch it just to be safe. And then the flooding concern. This is a slow moving weather pattern, guys. And when you've got wave after wave after wave of rain and storms rolling through, that rain's got to go somewhere, right? So we'll have to watch some of those creeks and rivers, especially running a little bit high as we get towards next weekend. There could be some flash flooding too, especially if you get these storms that just dump buckets and buckets and buckets of rain for several hours. So we'll have to watch that with all of these rounds of storms that we see on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'll leave the threat levels here for a second as I go through the comments, okay? Let's see. Let's see. People asking about Reed Timmer. Shonda makes a great point. It is so darn difficult to chase storms in wave country. James Spann, you guys ever heard of him down in Birmingham? Weather Brains. He had a great line one time. You know, it's easy to chase in the plains because they don't have hills and they don't really have trees. In Alabama, where he's at, they have hills and they have trees. I lived in Alabama for almost 5 years. I know that. Similar thing here in wave country. We've got hills, we've got trees. That makes it really difficult to chase. So we'll see if Reed comes here. Who knows? But we got more important things to worry about. Gary, you're explaining it clearly. Let's hope it's been comprehended. Well, I appreciate that, Gary. And, you know, that's why we're here. Just the great thing about these segments is we can just take our time and break it all down. It's much easier to do this over 30, 45 minutes than in 4 minutes in a television studio during a newscast, right? Let's see. What should I look at on the Wave Radar app? The 24-hour forecast or what? That's a good question. You can look at all of those tools. Okay, so when you open up the app, you've got an hourly button, a daily button, and a radar button. So when it comes to severe weather, I would recommend the radar button so you can track those storms as they're moving through on radar, same radar that we have. And if you're looking for a forecast for the day, as far as when the storms move through, I would recommend the hourly button because we update that forecast. That's not a computer. That's us. That's me. That's our entire team updating that forecast by hand. It's the most accurate, updated forecast you're going to find anywhere in this town. So those are the two buttons I would look at in particular on our Wave Weather app. Tammy, is Grayson County under severe threat? Yes, Tuesday and Wednesday. Everybody in wave country is in a threat Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's see. Destiny says, I've got storm anxiety. Any high chance for tornadoes? I'm in PRP Shively. I'm not going to say high tornado chance yet, Destiny, but I think there's a risk for tornadoes, a decent risk. especially on Wednesday. We got to watch Tuesday, but Wednesday in particular really has my attention. More folks chiming in about Reed Timmer. Let's see. Veronica says good night. Good night, Veronica. Elizabeth's watching in Valley Station. So many comments. Goodness gracious. That's a good problem, though. Here's a good one. Katie says, are we looking at what we had at the beginning of April? You're referring to April 2nd, of course. This could be on the level of April 2nd, guys. This could definitely be on the level of April 2nd, unfortunately. Let's see. Steven says, finally, a dry day. Yeah, no kidding. Rebecca, hope not. Fingers crossed. Yeah, we're all hoping for the best. Let's see. Watching in English, Indiana. Michael says, look outside. Brenda says, I grew up in Iowa, had plenty of bad storms. Yeah, they got a ton of them up in Iowa, don't they? Hang on, I got a spammer. Doggone it. Delete. Okay. All right, so that's the threats at this point. Damaging winds and tornadoes the primary concern for both Tuesday and Wednesday. Now let's go day by day, all right? Because the thing that always stresses me out as a meteorologist is to try to figure out how to explain all this stuff to you guys as simply as I possibly can. When you've got back-to-back-to-back severe weather threats, boom, boom, boom. It can really get messy, and I get that. It's been hammered into me since I was in college. Clear and easy to understand. That's our number one job. So we're going to go day by day here. Let's start with Tuesday. Tuesday. Every single one of our 34 counties is under a slight risk for severe weather Tuesday. Some of you are probably going to ask, is this going to go up to an enhanced, moderate? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't, guys, it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to shoot straight with you here. It doesn't matter. There's a risk for severe weather Tuesday. So we got to pay attention to it, okay? Everybody's under a slight risk. That's a level 2 on a 1 to 5 scale. And the main issues will be damaging winds and brief spin-up tornadoes. We're only looking at the little spin-ups here, but those spin-ups can cause damage. We've seen it here time and time again. Let's go through Futurecast. And what we're looking at here is round 1, around midday Tuesday, all right? So this is that late morning, early afternoon round on Tuesday. And this round, it's not a slam dunk. And the reason I say that is because you're going to have a line of storms out in Illinois and Missouri Monday night that will still be trucking along, getting closer to our backyard. But at some point, it's going to fizzle out. And the question is, when is it going to fizzle out? And that will ultimately decide our severe threat with this first round. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. This is 7 a.m. Tuesday morning. The line is still out to the west, let's say near Mount Vernon and Champaign, Illinois, okay? But ahead of that line, the high-resolution models are trying to squeeze out a few downpours in a corridor from Evansville to Vincennes to Owensboro to Bowling Green. We got to watch these. The environment's going to be decent for storms to go severe Tuesday morning. So if these little cells develop, we'll have to watch them ahead of that main line that's still out to the west. Okay. This is 7 a.m. Tuesday morning. Let's keep going. Here's 9:30. Those cells are along I-65 in the Louisville Metro, according to the latest high-resolution rapid refresh model, the HRRR model. Then to the west, here comes that main line. Still packing a punch. So within this first round, you might have a couple pockets of storms that we're going to have to be watching, okay? So this is 9:30. Let me do it manually here, moving forward in time manually. So there's 10:30. That's still a decent line of storms, guys, out near Evansville, knocking on the door of our western counties around 10 or 11 a.m. Tuesday. So Bedford, Paoli, Jasper, Tell City, English, Marengo. You guys are going to see this line of storms first if it holds together Tuesday morning around 10 o'clock. But we'll also have to watch these downpours out near LaGrange and Shelbyville, down towards Columbia as well. Any of these storms that you see here on Futurecast with round one could produce damaging wind gust and potentially a spin-up tornado. But again, if these storms fizzle out way ahead of schedule, we might be in good shape. We just won't know that, quite honestly, until the storms are rolling through. So that's why we just got to be ready in case. Let's keep going. That's 10:30. There's 11. Still a decent line. Moving into Seymour, Salem, Corden, Brandenburg, Hardinsburg at that time. And then you get towards noon and you start to see this line of storms really weaken. So I do expect these storms to weaken with round one by the time they get to I-65, by the time they get to the Louisville Metro. But they could still pack a punch. Okay? They could still produce damaging wind gusts. They may be able to spin up a tornado. Okay? Even though they're weakening, it's going to be a decent environment for these storms to stay marginally severe. Then you notice by Tuesday afternoon, we quiet things down briefly. 2 o'clock Tuesday, round one, gone, done, made it, cool. Now we got the next round to deal with, right? And that'll be on Tuesday night. So let me back up Futurecast here, and we'll go back to the comments because there's so many of you chiming in tonight. And please understand, I know a lot of you guys saying, hey, what about my town, my town, my town? I love you all dearly. I do. But I can't answer every single question about every single town, okay? I'm going to do my best to kind of hit some of the big burgs around town, around the area, but I can't do one by one. So please, I hope you understand that. Let's see. Karen says, got my weather radio ready. Good. Everybody should have that weather radio. It's a smoke alarm for weather. Warning comes out for your county. That sucker is going to wake you up in the middle of the night. It's loud. It's supposed to be loud. That's one way to get a warning. Another, this thing, the wireless emergency alerts that the government gives you. No, it's not some conspiracy. All right. It's not. They're designed to keep you safe whenever a tornado warning or flash flood warning comes out. The Wave Weather app, whenever there's a warning in your area, you're going to hear it go off too. So have those ways to get warnings. Let's see. Valerie's asking, at what point do you think the third round on Wednesday night ends? It quite honestly, Valerie, it may be early Thursday morning. That is going to be a nighttime event in all likelihood. So I cannot emphasize enough. Wednesday night in particular, you've got to have those ways to get warnings to wake you up. Because I do believe that third round will be a nighttime event. Or at least an evening stretching into parts of the overnight. So you got to have those ways to get warnings Wednesday night. Is there any part of the storms that have a chance of weakening as they get closer to Louisville? I think this first round that I'm showing you does Tuesday morning. The other two rounds, you know, they might, but it's just too hard to say because we don't have that high resolution data for those two rounds just yet. We're just now tonight, the 0Z model runs that are coming in as I speak. They're going to be starting to get into those other two rounds of storms, and then we'll have a little bit of a better idea. But I won't get that data until maybe another hour or so, if that. It might be later than that. So let's see. Folks saying, answer the questions later, guys. Come on. I gotta have a balance. I gotta answer the questions and also give you the forecast. So please be patient with me. But I think we're good at this point. All right. So that's round one on Tuesday. Cleared out Tuesday afternoon. Then we go into Tuesday night and Wednesday. So let's shift gears here. We're going to Tuesday night and Wednesday. All right. Same severe risk. It's a slight risk. Level 2 out of 5. But I'm going to tell you, folks, I am almost certain that this risk will be upgraded. I usually don't like saying it that way, but this Wednesday night round's got me a little concerned. So I do believe this risk will be upgraded at some point. When? I don't know. It might be tomorrow morning. It might be Tuesday. It might be the day of on Wednesday. But as we get more confidence in how this is all going to play out Wednesday, this risk will likely be upgraded. I don't know how high up it will be, but there's a pretty good chance. Now, some of you are asking earlier about the Colorado State tool. Brian shows you guys this a lot when he's in here, and it's a great tool. It's a great tool. It's AI. Basically, it's a supercomputer, I guess. I guess that's what AI is now. That kind of gives us a severe weather outlook on its own. And I'll be honest with you, I've never seen this before in wave country. That's not to scare you. That's just being factual, okay? Right on top of wave country is a dark purple circle. See that right there? That, my friends, is a severe weather probability over 60%, right over wave country. And that is significant. That's why I'm kind of, my tone's a little different with this Wednesday round, because we don't see these kind of numbers very often. Now, does that mean 60% tornado, 60% wind? Again, we're still too early to break down those specifics, right? But the fact that the Colorado State machine is putting out over 60% probabilities for severe weather on Wednesday is not good. That means we really, really, really got to pay attention to this, okay? And you notice on the right side of your screen, that is the SPC risk I just showed you. Right now, they only have that slight risk, that 15% risk. But again, that's because of confidence. As we get closer to these severe weather events, you see those upgrades in those severe weather risks, because we as meteorologists and the meteorologists at the SPC get more confident that there will be severe weather in a given location, right? So that's why I say at some point that 15% risk is going to get upgraded. How high? I don't know. But when you see 60% right over wave country in the Colorado State machine, that raises eyebrows, to say the least. This is a fairly new tool still, obviously, but I can't remember seeing a 60% in our neck of the woods. So definitely need to pay attention to that. Let's see. Comment time again. Not looking good on Wednesday. No, it's not, unfortunately. Jacqueline's asking, what's that black dot? So, might give y'all some bad flashbacks here. Do you remember math class when you did averages? Like mean, median, all that good stuff? Basically, what the machine is doing is it's basically putting a center point on the severe weather risk based on what it's spitting out, right? So that black dot is right over Evansville. So basically, the center focus of severe weather is, if you're looking specifically at the machine, is Evansville. But you get the idea. We're in the bullseye, guys. So we really got to pay attention to Wednesday in particular. Let's see. Toby says, hey, Carson, doing a good job. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Very, very kind of you. Shonda says, did we not have that when Henryville happened in 2012? We did not. Not that I'm aware of, Shonda. We did not have this tool back in 2012. Fairly new. Cheryl says, what time on Wednesday? That is a fantastic question, Cheryl. Let's go to the next graphic, shall we? Um, this is Futurecast for rounds 2 and 3. Okay. Round 2 is Tuesday night. Round 3 is Wednesday night. All right. Now, here's the second round. Note the time. This is 11 o'clock Tuesday night. Okay. Now, this round, in my view, is the muddiest round at this point. It's not the clearest. And the reason why is it's going to depend on what happens earlier in the day on Tuesday with round 1. If round 1 doesn't really happen, then things may get a little active for round 2. So round 1 is going to decide how round 2 goes. But you notice, generally speaking, Tuesday evening, we're going to have a line of showers and storms rolling through. It'll likely flare up in southern Indiana first. So if you're up in Bedford, Seymour, North Vernon, Paoli, you guys are probably going to see these storms first Tuesday night. And then that line, as it matures and becomes better organized, is going to push to the south and east across the Ohio and into Kentucky. So this is going to be a Tuesday evening setup. It may linger into the overnight hours. Not quite as certain just yet. Again, this is the murkiest round of the 3, in my view. So as we zoom things out, this is 9 o'clock Wednesday morning, all right? You notice what's left of round 2 is down to our south. This is key to decide how round 3 is going to go on Wednesday night. Remember, one round affects another. So this is the Euro. This is the European model. And it has been fairly consistent the last couple of runs to keep that second round of storms still in southern Kentucky, into Tennessee as well. That, my friends, may be a very good thing. Because if those storms do get hung up down near Kentucky, the Kentucky-Tennessee line, and they keep going during the day on Wednesday, that's going to rob the atmosphere of some moisture and instability in our backyard. Let me be very clear. That is not our forecast. Okay? That's just a potential solution to how this might play out Wednesday, where those storms down to our south keep going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny, and limits things or keeps things a little more under control here in wave country Wednesday night. That is one model's idea. All the other models that I have seen show a fairly significant severe weather threat Wednesday night after 7 o'clock. It's just something we got to keep an eye on, guys, okay? And you notice as we get towards Thursday, finally, we quiet things down. Maybe a few showers and storms still lingering, but the severe weather threat, in my view, is not really there as we get towards Thursday. And we can all be thankful for that, right? One last thing I'll mention is the rainfall. Most of us going to see about 1 to 2 inches of rain generally. But if you see these heavier storms that just sit in the same spot, we might have some isolated 3 or 4 inch rainfall amounts over this upcoming work week. Okay. That's where things stand at this point, gang. I know I've been babbling a lot tonight. I apologize. But this is a heck of a forecast, as you might imagine. Let me go to the 10-day. Here it comes. Highs in the low 80s Tuesday and Wednesday, by the way. That'll give us a lot of fuel as well for these storms rolling through. And then you notice by Mother's Day weekend, we cool down. Low 70s, a good bet for both Saturday and for the holiday itself on Sunday. And we may have to trend cooler than that. We could be stuck in the 60s on Saturday, especially. A little chilly after we got close to 90 degrees 3 days ago. That's wave country, isn't it? All right, let's see what other comments we got here. So many comments. That's a good thing, though. I appreciate you guys watching and keeping the conversation going. It's a lot easier for me to talk to you guys with this than just keep going on and on and on and on. Of course, some of you might think I'm going on anyway. Let's see. That dark purple is hatched, Shonda says, going back to the Colorado State map. So that means there's the risk for significant severe weather, the black hatched marks that you see. So by significant severe weather, we mean larger hail, maybe a stronger tornado as well, and perhaps damaging wind gust over 70. That's what the black hatched mark means on that Colorado State map. Let's see here. Ashley's asking about the time frame for Wednesday. This is going to be an evening and overnight event Wednesday night. I would just, generally speaking, I'd say after 7 o'clock Wednesday night is when the severe weather window opens. When does it end? Hard to say. It might be sunrise Thursday. But obviously we're going to nail down that timing more and more as we get closer. But this looks to be a Wednesday evening, Wednesday night situation for that third round. Thomas says, has tomorrow's forecast been talked about? Yes, we mentioned it off the top. Just hit and miss showers and storms throughout the day. Nothing severe expected tomorrow, Thomas. Ashley says, maybe if we all blow, we can all blow this away. Yeah, just keep it away. Keep it away. If only. Jordan asks, is this going to be more of a line segment Wednesday night or supercells? Here's the thing. It could be a little bit of both. This is the kind of setup where we start off with semi-discrete supercells. That's a fancy way of saying you got these supercells that fire up as if they're in a line, but they're a broken line. So there's gaps in between, right? So this is the kind of setup where we start off like that, and eventually those supercells congeal into a mostly solid line and blitz through. So we got to watch that supercell threat, Jordan, because that could enhance our tornado potential Wednesday night. We'll watch it. Good question. Tomorrow is just regular storms, Jacqueline says. You are correct. Just regular storms. We'll watch for some wind. Shouldn't be a big deal. And yeah, we still got to nail down that timing on Wednesday as far as the timing of when things move through and what kind of storm mode we're looking at, be it supercells or a line. Ashley, there could be some supercells before the clusters. Yes, that is possible. That is possible. That's correct. Summer says, oh, goodness, 2 nights with no sleep. This will be awful. Oh, gosh. I breaks my heart when people's anxiety gets to them like that, but I understand. I get it. I was the exact same way when I was younger. Do whatever you have to do to make yourself as comfortable as possible. Okay? We're going to be here. I guarantee you we're going to be here nonstop those 2 nights. Somebody from the team will be here. Several of us will be here in all likelihood. So that's why you can rest easy. We're watching it. As long as you got a way to get warnings to wake you up tomorrow or Tuesday night and Wednesday night, you'll be just fine. And then when you get that warning, you just flip on Wave TV or flip on Wave Weather Now, and we'll have our coverage there for you. We're going to be here. Trust me. Ashley says, let's hope they keep going. I guess I'm not sure what you mean there, Ashley. Sorry. All the comments are running together. Adam says, any significant analogs for this event? Adam, I'll be honest with you. I haven't really looked at the analogs too much. That is a good question, though. I'll have to take a look at that later on tonight. Katie says, oh, here we go again. I know. Man, it's been a busy spring, hasn't it? We had the tornado in Jefferson County, Indiana, Trimble County, March 14th. Then, of course, we all know what happened on April 2nd. That tornado went through Jeffersonville and Prospect and Oldham County. That was a close call for me. My grandparents live in Oldham County, so I was stressed about that one. Thank God they're all right. Jacqueline, I'm with you. I really hope this thing busts before it gets to Wednesday. No kidding. It always could. It always could. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Doug says we're good tonight in Greene County. Yep, you're fine. You might hear some thunder in Greene County after midnight, but that's about it. That's about it. Rain. There'll be rain, little thunder, but nothing severe in Greene County or anywhere in Wave Country tonight. Weather Geek says, greatly appreciate you covering all angles of this. Yeah, well, it's a very complex forecast to figure out. Ashley, well, here's a great question. This is what we're all thinking. Are we getting a break from severe weather anytime soon? By the end of the week, when we cool down, I think we'll get a decent break in severe weather. And by decent, I mean maybe 3 to 5 days, just because beyond that, it's hard to say. Of course, I think starting tomorrow, our 10-day forecast will have the PGA Championship in view. So we'll have to make sure there's no severe weather concerns for that big golf tournament at Valhalla in a couple of weeks. Oh, thank you, Laura. I appreciate the kind words. No rain this Saturday, Carson. That's my birthday, Toby says. Toby, I'm sorry, but there might be a few showers around Saturday. Might be a few. That's still, those details are still very, very fuzzy. So hopefully we can knock those rain chances down, but right now we'll keep a few showers in the forecast. When can we have normal storms again? Brandon asked. I know, man. Hopefully, by the end of the week, we'll quiet things down. Maybe a few showers, but no severe concerns. That's what we're going to hold out for, right? Thanks for the kind words, Gary. I appreciate it. Let's see here. John says, I know the attention is midweek. Outdoor wedding in E-Town. Will we be rain-free? John, I assume the outdoor wedding is this weekend, this upcoming weekend. There could be a few showers, both Friday and Saturday, or maybe the ceremony's on Sunday. There might be a few showers then, but no severe concerns by then. Is Tuesday night's threat significant? It's not as significant as Wednesday. That's a good question. The 2 rounds of storms on Tuesday are not as significant as Wednesday, but that does not mean you're clear, okay? It just means there's not as high of a severe threat on Tuesday as there is on Wednesday. So hopefully that made sense for you there. Monday is looking like what, Amanda asked? Well, Monday is looking a little stormy, but plain storms, not expecting severe. Main issue is going to be heavy rain and perhaps some lightning strikes here and there, of course. So no severe weather concern tomorrow. No severe weather concern tonight. Tuesday morning is when that severe threat goes up. And by Tuesday morning, we mean past 9 a.m. in particular, 8 or 9 a.m. Let's see here. Janet's watching in Owen County. Hey, Janet, hope all's well up there in Owen County. April's asking about Bowling Green, another one of my old stomping grounds. Unfortunately, Bowling Green's in a very similar situation as Louisville and E-Town and the rest of Wave Country. We could see, I will say the first round on Tuesday morning probably isn't an issue for Bowling Green. It'll be Tuesday night and Wednesday night that our friends at BG got to keep an eye out. Good question. Very clear and concise. Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate it very much. Is this a boom or bust setup? Carissa asked, or is this set in stone? Well, that's a good question, Carissa. You know, I don't want to ever say that an event is set in stone. I've never been that way. I don't like being that way because there have been plenty of severe weather events in my 5-year career where I wake up that morning and I think, man, oh man, this is going to be a bad day. I had that, I can distinctly remember 2 times in Alabama where I was like, holy smokes, this is going to be a bad day. And not a whole lot happened. So you just never know. Having said that, this is a concerning setup, especially on Wednesday. And until we have reason to believe it is going to be a bust, we got to pay attention to it. So hopefully that answers your question, Chris. In other words, could it bust? Yes, but we don't know at this point. Tornado Alley can't really move, Jacqueline says, but is the severe weather they get shifting more to us? We've had a lot of tornadoes so far this year. We have. There's been a lot of research in the last, I don't want to put a number of years on it, but over the last several years, there's been a lot of research suggesting that actually Tornado Alley is shifting to the east a little bit towards the deep south, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, that kind of zone, because they're getting a little more tornadic activity than the plains has been recently. Of course, that's not factoring in this severe weather season so far. So, those tornado hotspots can change. That depends on the big picture weather patterns, whether we're in El Nino or La Nina or things like that. So it's always fluctuating. But yes, we have had a little bit more tornadic activity this year than maybe we have in years past. So Elizabeth says, is this a red alert day or yellow? So for the time being, this is a yellow alert day for both days, Tuesday and Wednesday. But I got a funny feeling that's going to change for Wednesday in particular, because like we mentioned, as forecast confidence grows in that Wednesday setup in particular, I do expect that severe risk to be upgraded. How high, I don't know how high the risk will go. But that may cause us to go with the red alert day instead of yellow. Yellow means impacts are possible. Red means impacts are likely. So in case you're wondering what that difference is. Good question, Elizabeth. Anna says, I'm scared. I feel it. I hate that breaks my heart. But I've been in your shoes, so I totally understand. We're going to be okay. All right. Like I said, every last one of us on this wave storm tracking team will be here at some point Tuesday and Wednesday watching this stuff. All right. We will be here 24/7. Somebody will be in this building. So you can rest easy. And we'll be here watching it. Make sure you have a way to get warnings. You hear that warning, wake you up, go to your safe spot, and we'll be there watching it, tracking it for you on TV and on your phone and on wave3.com and all the places. Totally free as well. Can't see anything in the dark, Janet says. Yeah, that's the concerning thing with this. You're not going to be able to see any of these tornadoes moving through at night if we do have any. So that's a good point. John, we talked about that. It's on Saturday. Yeah, so there could be a few showers for that wedding, John, on Saturday. Jasmine, can I see Wednesday night again? It went a little fast. Yeah. Let me get that map up for you. And, again, Wednesday, we don't have that more high-res data just yet. So it'll look much clearer probably as early as tomorrow. But this is one idea. And like I mentioned, this is the European model. It's kind of got this split where you've got most of the storms Wednesday night staying south and keeping a lot of wave country dry. Or not, I shouldn't say dry. Let me take that back. Not seeing as much severe weather. Hopefully that plays out, but I don't want to say that just yet. So let's just say after 7 o'clock tonight, or Wednesday night, not tonight, after 7 o'clock Wednesday night, those storms will roll through and they could be significant. And I'll leave that map up for you there, Jasmine. May says, okay, I'm officially scared. I get it, guys. I get it. It's stressful. But We will be okay. I'm going to have to wrap things up here, unfortunately, guys. Thank you for all your questions. It's been a good conversation. Let's see here. Are the Tuesday and Wednesday storms as bad as the ones they had in Oklahoma, Iowa, Texas? It depends on what you mean by as bad. If you're talking tornadoes, I think the risk for those gigantic tornadoes here is very, very low. Could we have a stronger tornado like an EF2? Yes, we could. But I don't expect to see those huge half-mile wide monsters in wave country. I do not expect that at all at this point. But there could be some stronger tornadoes that cause EF2 damage-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. That's why we got to pay attention. Ashley, well, Tornado Alley could shift right back. Yeah, right? Maybe it kind of is this year, as busy as it's been in the plains the last couple of weeks. Well, I mean, Jordan, I'm just trying to be encouraging, take care of people when I say everything's going to be fine. I mean, you know, we all got to take care of each other, right? It's a good question. Sierra on YouTube. Why do so many storm systems hit us at night? I'm not sure if there's a definitive answer to that, Sierra, but that is a really good question. It quite frankly, it just has to do with the timing of these storms. It gets as simple as that, in my view, where these storms just kind of they get going out in the west of us during the day, and it just so happens that what's left of them moves through at night. There's probably more research that goes into that I don't know about, but oh, okay. So Jordan was referring to somebody's. Okay, so somebody said something mean. Okay, I got you, Jordan. Thank you for looking out for me. I appreciate you. See, that's the thing, guys. These comments, they just on this screen, they just keep going and going and going. So if y'all are like talking to each other, I lose track of it. So I appreciate you, Jordan. It means a lot. So that's a weird comment. All right, gang. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We had a lot to cover. So it's going to be a busy 3 days. Just stay here with us. We're going to take care of y'all. We'll be here every step of the way. Hopefully this all fizzles out, but we just got to keep an eye on it as we get closer and closer to Tuesday and Wednesday. 3 rounds of storms, Tuesday morning, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, okay? Valerie's asking if I will be live again tomorrow. I will not be. Brian will be tomorrow morning. He usually does his updates around sometime in the 9 o'clock hour, 9 or 10. So he will be here tomorrow morning. I'll be back on TV tonight at 11, a couple hours from now. Look over some data before the evening goes on, or before we go on for our evening newscast, and we'll keep an eye on it. Just take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will be just fine, guys. We will be just fine. Just have that Wave Weather app, have those ways to get warnings, know where your safe place is, and we'll get through it. It's going to be a long couple of days, but it'll all work out. Again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Have a great work week. I will see you on the television side of things at 11 o'clock tonight. Take care. See you soon.